hustlaholics.
Where it's not just about the hustle.
The science behind the hustle. Man, and today we have a very, very, very distinguished guest here, man.
I can't wait to meet him.
My partner
Coming through the door.
Yeah, Mr. Man Hatta, man. I don't even have to like try to say who you are, but I'm just tell you what I know about you. Okay. Probably the most prolific radio personality in the city of Houston. Definitely over the last 30 years. Music mogul, responsible for putting a lot of artists out. Rap artists.
I'm happy you said it, but I don't necessarily qualify in the jigger line of MC, but I try to do a couple of rhymes every once in a while.
Community activist,
Yeah, definitely like it,
man. Definitely been the voice, man, for a lot of people, man. Everybody been waking up to you for years and years and years, man. We happy to have you here, man.
Thank you.
And I know how you move. It's hard to make you move, man. So I know. Come out, man. That's my boy, man.
That's not true.
Yeah. But man, we happy to have you here, man, because your story, man, it's a beautiful story, and I know it can uplift some other young brothers out here that's aspiring to be. And I think you're a great representation, not just from all of the accolades I just gave. I just know you as a person.
Right.
I know your discipline. I know how you move, man. So I wanted to have you here so that you can inspire and uplift some other younger brothers, you know?
Well, I hope I can help. I don't know how inspiring I can be, but I'm definitely here to help, and I'm just proud of what you guys are doing, because over the years, I've actually seen y'all do, you and your brother and your family do so many things, man. And I love one that you always keep it in the family. Where you see one, the other is not too far behind.
No, really. Well, you gotta keep either me in line or somebody gotta keep him in line.
But you know, it's a true brotherhood there, and it's cool to see brothers who love sharing their life and their goals and their mission and their plans together.
Yeah,
I was not that close to my brother, so to see two brothers that close that have built an empire together, that's incredible to me.
Man, I appreciate it. So look, man, take us back a little bit on your journey from North Carolina. Like, tell us a little bit about, you know what I mean, just.
I'll try not to bore y'all with the particulars. I'll just shout out to North Carolina A&T. You know, it gave me the opportunity to be everything that I am at the university that I went to in North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina, G-Boro. Majored in broadcast communications. Did not really know that I was going in this direction. I always loved music. Just like you cats, love music was always a part of my life. Was always rapping, break dancing. DJing really was my thing. And from a young age, I had always read books about the music industry. So I don't know why, it's just weird for a kid in 7th and 6th grade to read books about contracts for artists and recording contracts. I guess I thought I was gonna be doing something in the music business. And those books, you know, how to create a record label. I was just really totally into those books at a young age. And going to college, I wanted to learn why radio stations played the music that they played, how they make the selection, why they make the selection. Because when we were growing up, I grew up at a time when hip hop was just being created, and the radio stations, as you know, they didn't play rap music back in the days. And when they started playing rap music back in the days, they would play the instrumental side of the record. They wouldn't play the rap side of the record.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm dating myself by telling this story.
I'm with you though, bro.
You know what I'm saying? but I couldn't understand. You know, when you're a kid, you don't understand, like, why did y'all play this African Bambaataa, Planet Rock? The best side is vocal. But, you know, we did jam instrumental because of the radio station. So I wanted to really just understand. And accidentally, the lady, shout out to Yvonne Anderson, my career has always had women catapult me to wherever I'm going to be the whole way through. And it was this woman, she actually gave me my name, Mad Hatter, because I used to always wear these Run DMC hats. And she's like, you should call yourself, because, you know, kids saw me on campus and thought I was some weird dude from the East Coast, New York, because I just dressed different, I guess. At that time, I guess that made you different. So they knew who I was. And she, you should call yourself the Mad Hatter, because you're always wearing them hats and that. I thought it was dumb, still do, but I made a career on it because my career happened so fast I never really changed it. But she said, if you call yourself that, I'll give you a shot on the air. let me get this straight. You gonna put me on the little college radio station? You just want me? As long as I call myself Mad Hatter, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this because I'm gonna change my name. As soon as I get popping, I'm changing the name. But I got on the air, and it just happened really, really fast. It seems slow when you're a kid, you're going through it, but when you look back on time, you know, 1 year you're doing this, the second year you're doing this, next year you're on a commercial radio station. Next year you go from overnights to nights. Next thing you #1. Next thing, all these people across the country calling you to come work for the radio station. And you kind of like.
So let me ask you something real quick. So were you working? So first of all, I want to give a shout out. You went to the store to Black.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And I'm sure that education played a foundation in what you got going on.
Absolutely.
And then my next thing, were you working at the college?
I was.
I
didn't want, and I guess that is part of the hustle. This is hustleaholic, right? I had 7 jobs at one time. I was a super focused, kind of like individual. I guess I still am. You know, for the last year, I've been trying to stop being so hyper focused because you miss a lot when you like this. There's a whole bunch happening over here and over here. And my whole life, I missed out on all that over there and all that over there. So here I am in my older years trying to, maybe I need to see everything. But yeah, I had like 7 jobs. I had a work study program, worked at Pizza Hut, UPS, RPS. I can't even remember all the jobs. Some media research company. And then, you know, college, I worked at the college radio station. Then, you know, you would rotate. I actually, one of my homegirls at the time, because I was homeless for a little while. I would sleep on my homeboy's floor, and he had a little fireplace in his apartment, so I had all my stuff thrown in a little fireplace at his crib. I would sleep on his floor for a couple of hours. Then these girls, they would make me dinner, and I would sleep on their couch for a couple of hours. And in between, I'd go to class, go to work, go to school, hit that floor, in the afternoon, hit that couch.
That's a good old days.
Good old days, boy.
That's
my life. And I just had a little rotation going, you know what I mean? And, you know, just one day, the goal at that particular time is, I just hope that I can get off of this media research company and all these different jobs and just get one job. And then the opportunity came to do overnights at the radio station. And then that's
But you know what?
changed everything.
You spoke about something, so you and what I want to, especially the audience to hear about is the process.
Right.
You mentioned about how it started where you met, and she said you changed your name to Mad Hatter, and then your process of the media research company, and you on the floor and so forth. Because a lot of times, especially what we see in this younger generation, is this microwave, that it's a microwave to success. And I think
Because they got Instagram.
Right.
And everybody's a superstar on Instagram.
Immediately.
IG.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think what it does is it derails them. It derails people sometimes when they get in it and they get to the first couple hurdles and they realize that it hasn't. Oh man, I thought I was going to be a superstar in 6 months, and now it's a year, or now it's a year and a half, and then they abort mission because they thought that it was going to happen so fast.
No doubt. You gotta have a plan. You gotta have, like I tell everybody that every time I talk to someone. Well, the number one thing I tell everybody now, because you again later in life you realize things that you missed. And the number one thing with me now is happy first. I think when we all were coming up, our parents was, you gotta get that money, you gotta go to school.
Get education.
Gotta get that money because we all been sold the American dream, right? You get the white picket fence, you get the wife, you get the 2.3 kids, you got the dog, and we all believe that message.
And that's all we didn't have.
Right. And so you believe that message, so you fighting this kind of like obscure messaging that you've been taught by this society that we live in, that they've been pimping to us. I won't get too deep.
Right.
Get deep.
But I think a lot of times if you start searching for your happy and you find your happy, it really kind of like won't matter what you do because you'll be so happy doing whatever it is you love to do. Money will follow. Or if you follow your passion, money will follow. And I kind of was following my passion too. But there was a plan that went along with it. You know, when you're young, you don't know when that plan is going to pop off. Yeah. Again, you from this generation, they see all their friends on Instagram. They think it's supposed to happen immediately. You know it's a grind, but you're afraid. You got to send money home to your mama. You got to make sure your sister's straight. So there was some pressure in there that you are concerned about. And the reason why I was narrow focused and I wasn't about happy is because I got to make sure my mama's straight. I gotta make sure my sister's straight. I gotta find a career. So if she asks for it, I never wanted my mother to be like, because there was a couple of times in the college dormitory, I see all the kids. I used to hate college kids. I'm in college hating college kids because they would get on the phone. This is old days. This is before everybody got cell phones. You had to be doing something else if you had.
Long distance. Right.
So everybody used to be on those phones in the middle of the hallway talking to their parents. And, hey, I need you to send me $300. And I get a phone call and I run to the phone. My mom like, bruh, I need $100. I'm like, how did this happen? So you hate college kids. But all these things make you who you are. As well. It's not a complaint, man. I was wrong to be hurtful at that situation, but it made me who I am as well.
Correct.
That drive. I wasn't like the kid who's blasting music all day long because his mama is facilitating his lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that luxury. You know what I mean? So
I want to touch back where we were, where you, like Michelle touched on. You talking about the process, right? And you saying you have to have a plan, but also you got to have a passion, which you said.
Absolutely.
Because somewhere along the way, and you probably didn't plan it, but your hustle. See, everybody, they see you now. They know where you're at now. They didn't see the journey.
Right.
So where did the plan take you? How did you end up in Houston?
This is fun. Here's what's fun.
To that point, did you plan on that, or were you just pushing forward with your dream?
This is funny. And here's how I know having a plan works. Because those days at the media research job that I had where people hang up the phone on you, and y'all get those calls to this day from people calling your phone, I was writing my plan. I drew up the plans for what a record company was supposed to be, the publishing division. I'm a kid. The publishing division linked into the business department, linked into, I'm gonna have some offshoot record labels, that'll be the gospel label, this one will be hip hop, this one might be R&B. I drew this and I also had 1, 2, 3, it was all parts of these plans, of all the things that you needed to achieve in order. Now the funny thing is why I said this is funny is about 2 years ago while I'm throwing stuff out, I'm like, how do I still got this? I'm throwing this out. I looked in the little booklet that I had in school and I'm just going through an old girlfriend letters. Oh, I remember her, yeah, good memories. You just go through your little book. And then I saw my plan and I achieved everything that I wrote down.
Man, I'm about to be rude right now.
He said rude.
But that's why we have this show.
Yes.
What you just said, because I promise to God, God is my witness. I thought I was the only person did that.
Right.
I know, man, I pretty much scripted my life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Without knowing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look back, and my record label, all that, I can go show you.
Did somebody teach you that though, or did you just, something inherently in your soul told you that you had to do? See, that's the real key, because a lot of us weren't told these things, and you became a success. So what was it in you? And I ain't trying to turn the tables, it's a bad habit.
Nah.
But to me, I'm curious now, like, what made you do that? Because I don't know what made me write the plan down. I don't know, I don't remember, I wasn't close to my dad, so we
I
had a lot of
part
conversations.
of mine was I was in grad school.
Mhm.
I was in Clark, and I was working on MBA, so we was doing a lot of business plans. But just the whole journey that I took in my life.
See, I don't even know Rec went to.
Yeah, I went to Clark for my MBA. I went to undergrad at SFA, but anyway, and I want to share this thing about me, and as much even about you, it's about I want people to understand how important the plan is and how you manifest dreams into reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I look back at so much of my life was foreshadowed in my own mind. Like
Right.
I created it through either writing it out or thinking it out.
But you know what? It's something about writing a plan.
Yes.
It's different than you verbalizing and
Right.
talking about something. Especially like people love to go tell people what their plans are.
Right.
Like I was never that guy.
Yeah.
And all my friends were always amused at me because they would come around like, oh, he got a record company. Oh, how'd you start? I would just wake up in the middle of the night and I would just start, oh, I think tomorrow I'm gonna start a record company. I mean, I did that in college. In college, I still don't know how I did it to this day with no money. I could talk to my homeboy when we was in school, we can't figure it out. But I started a record label.
Yeah.
My senior year of college was this lady that used to perform throughout the whole city doing blues and jazz standards. And because I understood contracts, I just went and created the contract off the top of my dome. The lady signed it, no questions asked. I had a guy that did jazz at the college radio station that was an aficionado. I had him, I said, hey, I want you to produce her album. I wasn't even there, I was working one of my many jobs. And they did this whole jazz album. I need to re-release it, it was incredible.
I know, man, I'm messing up the show. That's
No, you ain't messing up the show.
Because look, man, I never knew. See, I'm thinking you was a radio personality person that ended up with a record label.
No.
I done found out that you really was a record. Your desire was to be in the music business,
no
and your journey took you through radio for you to accomplish your goal.
Right.
These are all the things that this is about.
Right.
You know, so that's why I'm kind of jumping all in like this. I don't want to miss nothing, man.
No, it's everybody to see.
And I want to zone in on when he was talking about how he had created the record label and without any money. Because
I still don't know how I did that.
No, it's a misnomer all the time that you need the money to create what you do. You do need money to, but the
You do. You know, man, you go.
No. But what I'm saying is, but a lot of times what he did, and then you can go get the money if you need once you put it together. A lot of times what I'm saying is that it stops us from putting it together because we think that we have to have the money. And sometimes when you go ahead and put it together, that's also part of the process.
But you gotta have a lot of money.
Right.
I think again, when you live in your passion, I was passionate about putting out music. It didn't matter if it was jazz, blues, rock.
Right.
I wanted to start my own record label. I remember my girlfriend at the time, she drew the front cover because she was an artist. It's a little cheesy, but she did it. And I was like, we only did cassettes. It was 500 cassettes. But the college radio station was playing the song because she was a popular lady in the area. And we were selling, we were selling. Now, did I make my money back? Sure I didn't make my money back. But the idea that here it is, I did this first of all, it was a live recording at a club. I don't remember getting no permission from nobody to do nothing. A truck shows up, records 16 tracks. I never went to the studio, I didn't mix it. I put somebody else in charge to do that, like I said before, and we had a whole record. I'm still to this day, when I think back on it, I'm like, that's a lot of kahunas for a 19-year-old kid to sign this 50-something-year-old lady who sings blues to your record label.
Right.
You know?
And then you didn't, like you say, didn't make any money.
No, I didn't make no money.
So,
but I wanted to go through the process.
Right.
I wanted to go through the process because a lot of times you can't learn certain things until you do it.
Until you fail.
And look, and I think you hit the nail on the head when you say failing. I think I didn't look at what I did as a fail. Look, man, when my girl drew the album cover and I knew that was gonna be the cover of this album, I had already won. I got my girl to draw it. I didn't spend no money. You know what I'm saying? Right. I got my dude at the radio station to produce the album. I ain't give him no money. You know what I'm saying? I didn't give the lady no advance.
So I'm winning.
To me, here's this 19-year-old kid able to politic with these adults because they were like cool with my vision.
Right.
You know,
right.
I don't even remember the conversation with this lady. Here I am. Can you imagine some kid say, "Hey, sign that contract so we can start recording this album"? I wouldn't have signed with me. Come on, man. So to have done it and to actually have the product and it be, success is what you make it.
Exactly.
To some people, it will probably look like a fail. Yeah. For me, it was one of the many steps of something that I was interested in.
And when I say
why
fail,
being a DJ, by the way?
And when I say fail, I don't mean flop.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
But it's gotta try. It's only $1 million off the first part.
That's really what you do. As long as you keep going, it's not a
doubt.
failure until you stop going.
There's a lot of people don't see that grind, because where you at now, a lot of people don't.
Man, they skip that. They go straight to Z.
Right.
And I understand the society that we live in, especially now. It's because of a lot of the social media. You don't see work. People really believe that I'm gonna just go on social media, I'll make these images or do whatever I do there, and I can create something. Sometimes people get, and what's happened is we have seen some people get a little lucky,
Right.
and things happen for them. But then we discredit that person that's got a little lucky because it still takes something unique. There had to be other people that saw something fascinating about the person that now is doing it.
Correct.
So to take anything away from like anybody can do it,
Right.
or it's easy, or like the Kardashians, for instance. People sit there and, annihilate this family all the time. Think about the ability for you to have no true talent.
And make money.
The one thing you did, the one thing you did in your career is
That
have
is the
sex with Ray J. And I ain't gonna say I saw the whole tape, but what I saw, I was like, I've seen better.
Yeah.
Right.
Performance-wise, you know what I'm saying?
From her part.
Absolutely. So I was like, we can sit there and criticize it, but there's something about this family that people want to pry into their life. And they, their mothers figured out a way to turn that into an incredible business model that their little sister is now a billionaire.
Yeah.
So I'm not, I don't know what it is that they see about the family that they find incredible. Right? But they found it. And so I'm not gonna hate on the Kardashian family. I don't know those people. I'm like, if you can find your way in life and it works for you and you ain't hurting nobody, go for it.
Right.
So, it's just that.
So, I want to ask you another important question. So, on this journey and a lot of this wisdom and stuff that some of it sound like you say just came to you, but did you have like a mentor or somebody that you can say that you like to give credit to that helped play a role in molding you?
That's a good question. And it sounds, it's gonna sound arrogant for me to say no. I think there have been people along the way though, that had it not been like the lady Yvonne Anderson with the whole name of Mad Hatter, had it not been for her, I am never on radio. That, it would have been a thought. Maybe I would have been on the radio, but really it was just my research to find out how this radio thing worked. Even before that, if it wasn't for a kid by the name of John King, I didn't plan on going to college. I saw all the white kids in school doing this thing where they were sending stuff off to the schools. And so I'm like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do? I'm gonna do it too. I only sent it off to 3 schools. It was one white school, I think it was like Wake Forest, Fayetteville State where I'm from, and North Carolina A&T, and I got accepted at them. But I had a little girlfriend at the time. I was calling myself in love. I was gonna work at the local Hardee's. Don't know what a Hardee's is, it's like a McDonald's. Become a manager, give me a hot rod, 3 kids, nice trailer, McNeil trailer park, that's life. You know what I'm saying?
Drive your car to the car wash on Sunday.
That's it. It had my little mag wheels on there, and I was done. But this kid named John King, God bless him. One day John was a guy that lived in the neighborhood, but I didn't really politic with John. But he lived in the neighborhood. He came around the block one day during the summer and said, my real name is Benny. Y'all, Hatter's good. But he's like, what you gonna do, man? I'm going. Then before he hear my answer, he said, I'm going to North Carolina A&T. And my brain, I ain't gonna be one up. Right. Oh yeah, I'm going to North Carolina A&T. You go? Yeah, we go, man. We gotta hook up when we get to school. Yeah. So now I walk in the house and I tell my mom. Now keep in mind when I'm telling my mom this, there's a month before you gotta get to school. But for whatever reason, I went through all the paperwork to go to school. But just, I never tell my parents, hey man, I got this love thing popping off. I'm not going to school. I walk in the house, I tell my mom at the last second, I say, hey, I'm gonna be going to North Carolina A&T. My mom looked at me, well, I guess you're gonna be taking the white refrigerator. We had like a little white refrigerator. I said, I guess you're gonna be taking that, huh? Yeah, and that was the only conversation. A month later, I was at school, but had it not been so to answer your question, is the little landmarks in my life that get me to where I am. So it's Brian Douglas who actually gives me a shot on the radio, because by accident I was on the air. I thought that black DJs were supposed to sound a particular way, but I sounded 2 ways. When I was on the air, I thought you were supposed to sound this way when you're black, but all the DJs that I listened to were these white guys. So I would do like these little air checks is what they call them, sound like those guys doing all these phones and all this stuff, and I would take it back to the college radio station. That's when my program director there said, hey, Benny, you've exceeded this level here. All the kids would come and watch me at the college radio station, they would literally, everybody would be there taking notes while I would be on the air, asking me questions like I was a professional, because I would be doing so much. I had calls, because you can do that at the college radio station. So I'm doing caller, like, hey, what's up, such and such? And they're like, how are you doing callers on the air and doing this with the music and posting like that? So all the kids would be coming and taking notes, watching me. And she got to the point where she said, you need to go find your career. There's nothing more for you. You've learned all you can learn. Right? So she kind of like booted me, but it's it was in love. It was totally in love. Though. She was just what she was trying to say. You've done this. It's time to move on. And it was like key people that helped me along the way. It wasn't particularly like they groomed me. It was a guy by the name of Rick Party, who I used to watch on these video air checks, they used to call him. He was one of the few black people that I thought was incredible. To this day, Rick, we have a very awkward friendship too. We speak to each other, but weirdly, because I've always had him here. So I've never been comfortable just talking to him, He's tried, but it's just weird for us. But he was, at that time when I was looking for somebody to talk to me and tell me how to be better, a lot of the old heads seemed like they were afraid to tell young cats what to do to be better.
Right.
So, and we as black men have a lot of pride.
Talk to me.
So,
How you talk?
I don't know what made me do it. And I know this sounds corny. I wrote this dude a letter. Hey man, Rick, man, I be watching your air checks. Man, you one of the dopest DJs I've ever seen. It's some fanboy weird stuff. But I really felt this cat, right? And so the dude wrote me back a letter. It was like the biggest thing at the radio station too when it came in. They like, hey man, Rick Party hit you. Oh yeah, me and Rick go back, baby. Yeah. So, and in there he said, stay humble to this day. This is why I do this. Number one, he said, you're gonna make it. He said, all you gotta do is stay humble, be prepared. And I can't remember what the third, and I still have this letter to this day. It was just a little sheet of little yellow paper. But the number one thing on it was stay humble. So it's hard for me, like if you notice, if you ever say something nice about me, I immediately shoot it back, and I've done it so long, it's instantaneous. Yeah. There's no ego in me, because I don't believe, like, you'll say all this stuff, but you know what? All of us, if you talk to everybody in this room, they all got some dope shit to say. Right. Or they all come from some dope places.
No doubt.
I just got lucky and landed in this place.
One thing, and we've been knowing you over the years, but your faith, man, because you always, I had a discussion with you, you'd be like, God got me up.
Yeah.
Can you explain how faith then got you to where you're at?
That's interesting. You know what? I think God is like this kind of like this participant in your life, and is always on your shoulder, and he gives you the opportunity to choose wrong or choose right. And it's like he warns you. Now, if you make this decision, here's the outcome. It's always, and this is for me. I can't speak for everybody in the way their faith operates and how they pray and whom they pray to. But it was like, it's always laid out for me. And it's up to me to decide the proper course. But I'm a human being too. There's been times where I chose the improper course.
Right.
And God is so gracious. God is a funny cat, because God will be like, bruh, we can discuss that. I told you exactly what to do. It's like I do for my kids. I tell you, my job is to give you the golden road, the yellow brick road. I'm gonna show you the yellow brick. With dudes, what not to do, I'm gonna tell you they real, if they fake, I'm gonna be honest with you. I said, follow this path. I'm gonna get you there. But if you wanna follow your path, go for it. One of my kids chose her path, go for it. I'm gonna still sit on the sidelines and applaud you, but it's your choice. I think God operates in such a manner where He's giving you the blueprint. It's clear, but sometimes we choose our own road. But here's the cool thing about God. He's a cool cat. He'll sit there and be like, we didn't discuss this. Let me tell you how this is gonna go, bro. Because you already committed the wrong. Right. So let me tell you how this gonna go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G is gonna happen. So right now you feeling like you don't need me because there's a little arrogance in you right now. You think you did everything yourself. Right? But you go for it. Now, at any point in time, because the way I operate, you can call on me. That's the way I operate. That's the way I said I'm gonna operate. Right. I am. But right now, you say that you got things in control. You understand what you need to do, what moves need to be made. So I'm supposed to back out of it. So I'm over here, because I'm never too far away. I'm over here, but I'm gonna let you do what you do. Yeah. And I'm gonna be here when you keep on stumbling, falling, and busting your behind. I'm gonna be over here. Same thing that happened with my oldest, same thing. And then that's when you go, dang, now it's true. I'm gonna just need us. I'm gonna need you to get out this one. If you can find it in your grace. I promise I'm gonna listen next time. That's always I think, I'm gonna do right this time.
Right.
And he know how the game goes. He know you're gonna make some mistakes, but he's always gracious with you. So I think, for anybody, there's a high power. I think always is. Look, we're not here if there's not some high power that puts us where we are. You have to know that. I think sometimes in our arrogance, there are some that believe that, we've just morphed into human beings, and I'm just not one of those people that believe that.
So the good thing, man, like the wonderful reason why you're here, because of your hustle hard, you're a man of many hats. But what we haven't touched on is you building the successful record label that you did, man. Like, both of us have been involved out here in the music industry, and I applaud you in the sense that I know how hard it is to do
It's
that.
luck, man. It's all luck.
Yeah, it's
Even
luck.
with you, man, like, you don't know, and RIP, you don't know that you're getting ready to get Pat. You don't know what's getting ready to happen to him. You don't know how his career is getting ready to catapult. Your goal is that I see somebody here who I think is going to be an incredible artist. And then things happen that you can't control. And even with all the other artists you put out, there's things that happen that you can't control. It just happens.
Now look, you talking to somebody that understands.
It's the same, right.
I'm telling you the difference, and because I know this, they are other people that could have worked with the same artists that they work with, but they wouldn't have built a paid full brand. See, by me being a part of this, I seen you not just put out one artist or two artists, but build a brand, put out different products, and actually put an emphasis, build more than just, you didn't just put music out, you built a brand, and you had repeated success. I know a lot of guys that have lucked up like us and worked with the right artists, but they ain't never been able to build a brand on top of it. So I'm commending you, but I also want to kind of just dig deeper into it and kind of get it from your perspective on how you wanted to differentiate your label and your brand, and when you was putting your music out, was there some science or some thought process that went into that?
The only science ever really used at the label was when I put out my song Down South, to get somebody from the north side that was hot, somebody from the south side that was hot, to have the hook the way it was, to have the track the way it was. That was super, super thought out. I knew that song was going to be a hit when I heard the instrumental.
Right.
All I had to do was just get on there and float and get the right people on, and I knew it was going to do what it do. As far as the label is concerned, again, I think it's luck. I think timing in history, the timing was right. Accidentally, Paul Wall was just, I thought he was a black kid because I heard the underground text, I did. And then somebody said, that's a white kid, right? I'm like, the Paul Wall kid is white? And then when I started hearing, rumors that he wasn't really signed, my guy Cat went and found him and found Chameleon. And Chameleon, I liked him because he was on another Watts tape, and he had did this J Mac. I guess you could call it a diss, but he was just being lyrical, but he did it.
Were they already rapping together? Did you put them together?
They didn't necessarily, they were friends for sure. The first album, because we never really got to do Paul Wall album and Chameleon
This
album.
humble shit out of Who put them together?
They were really put together. My goal, listen, they were friends. My goal was I wanted the two hottest cats on this album together. At some point in time, if y'all don't really want to do records together, we'll split it. But let's get there first. Right now, you two are the hottest young cats in the street with the Slim Thugs and the youngsters. But on the north, it was those two cats and a couple of others.
That's not luck. See, that's my point.
Right.
That's not luck. That's calculated. And then last thing,
I'm not going to take credit for that. I'm not going to take credit.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit, because I'm gonna make you, because I don't want people watching this to think everything luck. I want them.
No, it's
I
not.
know. I know what I know. And you built a team. So y'all, I could say during that time, outside of Rec Shop, like to me, like y'all was the most organized. You know what I'm saying?
Business, we were organized. Because my paperwork, now I will say that.
Yeah.
I've been reading contracts since I've been a little kid. So now my paperwork was always impeccable, but always And I'll tell you real quick. Attorneys that saw my paperwork that I had for my artists thought I was stupid because it was so liberal, I'll say. I wasn't signing no artist to a 7-year contract. I was like, hey man, give me a strong 2. If we feel friendly with each other after this 2, let's make some moves with each other. You want publishing, you can have your publishing, and you want to put out your underground. I wasn't one of those kind of. So attorneys, when they would see it, they always thought we were stupid until they got us in the building, and they could, and you know, just like you, we're sitting there like, I don't really want your $1 million deal. Let me tell you why your $1 million don't mean jack to me. We were making money back then.
Sure.
I don't need your $1 million. Your deal sounds good to me if you want to give me $5 million and my records revert back to me. They look, your records come back to you. Yeah, you don't get to keep my record. My record gonna make money forever. So you don't get to keep that. You know, you can lease it for 2 or 3 years. And I think when they, especially with these Southern labels at first, these New York types didn't really know how to handle us.
Yeah,
because we were
didn't need them.
and I'll be honest, to give respect to the Tony Drapers and Little J's of Rap a lot, we were just and because we had Southwest Wholesale Distribution, we were already Reg was a mogul. Y'all were moguls. The record deal was really, let's be honest, when we were signing deals, this was all about our ego. We just wanted to say we had just signed with Universal. You didn't need to.
Yeah. You know, man, we said I went back and forth.
You did not need to. It was artist ego, and then it got mixed in with CEO, just so you can say, oh, Warner Brothers is.
Right. Yeah.
But when you got right down to it, nobody really needed it. So again, I'm not going to take credit. It was timing. For me, it was timing. I had a label. I gave them freedom. I had a whole bunch of tracks in my studio because I was a so-called wannabe rapper. And literally, Paul and Cam's first album were all the beats that I couldn't rap on, especially In Love With My Money. That was my beat. I had no clue what to do with. And when I heard In Love With My Money, I said, these guys are brilliant. That song really truly has no hook.
So would you say then that, like you talked about your mentor, and one of the things you said your mentor said was about preparation?
Being ready.
Being ready. So would you say then, because
I was ready. I was ready.
It wasn't luck, you was ready. Because if you weren't ready and prepared for it, you wouldn't have been able to go put that deal together and make that happen.
Sure, I can
It don't
accept
matter,
that.
even if you was planning right in the middle of it.
I can accept that. I still think it's a little bit of timing though. We're ready. As brilliant as your mind is, it's gotta be a little bit of, for whatever season.
But you gotta be ready for the time.
You do have to be ready.
Yeah.
You do have to be ready.
For the time.
But it's that preparedness, it's that being ready, and then the right situation just comes along now.
Right.
All the successes you had,
I tested.
you didn't really know that it was gonna be. You didn't think Pat was gonna pop like that.
No.
I didn't think that I thought Paul and Cam would do some cool little numbers. I didn't know they was gonna end up being what Cam is today and what Paul became.
I testify that it's a combination of the two.
Yes, sir.
But one part is the part we control, the other part is the part we can't.
Yes.
So when we talk about hustleholics, we talk about the part we can.
Yes, okay,
You see what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
So preparation,
that's what
you're right.
that's what this is about. This ain't on here.
I was prepared.
Yeah.
I was ready for the
There
opportunity.
you go. Say that shit.
There you go.
Say that shit so
That was
With luck.
That was the luck, right?
Because I'm sure that there's Paul Cam.
That what creates that moment.
That creates the luck. That creates the timing.
They go hand in hand.
And that's
the
what-
deserving gift come
Right.
after the deserving person in time.
Come on, Al, you did it,
Right?
bro.
Because only imagine, if all this is God's work, He can't only put it in the hand, you know what I'm saying, if He's trying to make something happen. So anyway, we can get some deep on that.
It's definitely a blessing. I can definitely go with you when you said, was I prepared? I had a structure. I did have a structure. I could talk it and walk it. And that probably made those two young guys and everybody else we had signed to the label, obviously that probably made them comfortable. And also they grew up listening to me. That all these things play a part. So there's a trustworthiness with this human being that he's not going to screw over me.
Right.
Because I've listened to him and I feel like I know who this guy sort of is, and he seems to be a decent human being. So that also makes it an easier conversation for you to talk to artists. You know what I'm saying?
So, well, I'll go ahead, but I want to push through it. All right, so working at radio, dealing with artists, then being a CEO, dealing with artists, the pressure, everybody coming at you, all that. Is there any thing special you did with to keep your mindset right? Your mental, is there something in that?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, you know.
I kept a healthy distance from all of my artists because I was taught by Tony Draper that sooner or later your artist will turn on you. And he told me that. He told me at an unusual place when Dino of H-Town passed away. Me and Drake, we were just walking back to our cars. He's like, when he was asking me a question, what I'm gonna do with Paul and Kim, you gonna put him on the label, da 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 da. He said, well, you know, he stuttered, so he like, I'm gonna tell you, they're gonna turn on you. And I know he was going through his problem.
Wow.
So that always resonated with me. So to not be hurt when the day would come when they would possibly turn on me, I prepared myself. So that one thing I will say, because I was trying to build a family environment. But here's the thing, you know, with a label, that is your family. And hopefully, because you're the kind of family that you are, I can tell because you're still here today together, you're not gonna turn on one another. The people that you bring in, you didn't grow up with. You don't know what their struggle is. You don't know where they're from. You don't know if their mother and father, their brother, their sister, their neighborhood, what they got in their head. So although you're over here trying to create a family, this person could be over here. Their primary mission is to use you for what you have as what a record company really is. It's a bank that says, I believe in your vision and I'm loaning you this money, and what I'm expecting you to do is pay me back in full, then some. And that's what you get sometimes. So you can't, so I kept a distance so it wouldn't be hurtful and painful when the day would come.
Basically, you saying you put your emotions in check to help you with
I did,
your
and I did. And as you know, to facilitate that, that's when I came up with my Houston Hard Hitters, and I was putting out those compilation records, and those became the true breadwinners of our company, these incredible compilations.
Well, man, I know we got to close. First of all, me and my brother, we want to thank you, man.
Thank
you
y'all for
brought
having
so
me,
many
man.
records, so we didn't get a chance to talk about that. But the Mad Hatter brand, what projects you got coming, man, and what future endeavors that you have coming?
I was trying to retire after I told my CEO that.
Yeah, when you answer that question, throw in the transition, because we're moving into a new habit.
Listen, I don't know what's gonna happen next. I didn't know that I was getting ready to retire, but I had enough money to look somebody in the eyes and say, you know, I don't want to do that. And they're like,
That's another show right there.
and it's the surprise on those individuals' faces because I think no one believed me. You know, it was like a few months later when I finally had to call like, hey man, y'all really need to make the train. I'm not. So this is what we need to do on my situation to make sure I'm rewarded for my years of service. So I think it threw a lot of people off. It threw me off. I didn't know I was getting ready to do that. But here's the truth, and then I'm gonna try to wrap it as quickly. I just wasn't happy in that space anymore. And I'm just being transparent. When you at odds with rappers for dumb shit, you got people who hate you for shit that's out of your hands. You're like, I don't need none of y'all hate. I can completely just vanish into Mo City and be a regular guy. And y'all can be mad at what I used to be while I sit over here with my little lady and build my family and my wealth. I don't need to do this. And you know, I just didn't want to be that guy on the front line for so many years. And you know, you carry everybody. It's all on you.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that anymore. Now it's just all on me for my family. But anyway, I've transitioned. Somebody talked me in to running. KTSU started another station called The Vibe. And it's a digital station, but they give us the platform in the evenings from 8 until 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay. So we're on KTSU, but we're really just The Vibe. So every day that happens. So at night, it's all our stuff. So it sounds like stations in the area, and then they go back to the regular programming. So that's been cool to put myself out there. They try to pull me on the air a lot, but I make it clear that I'm not the guy on the microphone. I don't need to walk around and people go, ooh, Hatter. I never was like that, and I particularly am not like that now. So I don't even, and I think sometimes when you're whom you are, it causes problems for other people. So I try to make it clear that I'm not here to get in your way of whatever you think fame or attention is. I just don't need attention. My goal, I was always focused. My attention was on money. I didn't need your attention. I didn't need to be, Matt Hatta just walked in. I needed to be the guy that made the most money in the room.
There you go.
So, but I do that now, I do the Vibe now, and I got such a huge digital platform from all the social media and websites and all that. So right now, I'm just at a place now where I'm trying to figure out what to do with all that stuff. And I still have clients that want Mad Hatter to talk about what they do. So, I still have clients that, keep my...
Well, you got some sound bites too. I just
Right.
think with all the money in the room.
Nah, but that's true. That was all.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I think some of that focus is wrong too, because sometimes it's about other things. You really do miss out on a lot when you like this. You miss out on good people.
Yeah.
Well,
that's for
You
sure.
miss out on a lot of, like, I never sat around, like y'all sit around and I never had friends at the house. I don't know how to do that kind of stuff. Sit around and just be cool. I'm not good at that. Like, so I'm gonna go to your house, sit down and watch the ball game and drink a beer. What we doing to make money? And that's always been my mindset since I've been a teenager. So I still have a hard time transitioning as an adult because me and you sitting around just to talk shit,
Yeah.
I'm not good at that.
Gotcha.
But if we sitting down and you got a money plan, how we can make some money, I'm usually good at that.
Yeah.
So that's bad.
Nah,
That's bad.
Being
You
focused
miss
in
out on
Caribbean,
it's bad.
I missed out on my grandma's last days.
See?
And it was because I always figured everybody knew I was going for the goal for everybody.
Right.
So they knew I'm gonna bring it home,
Right.
but because they knew I was gonna bring it home, it gave me an excuse to miss Christmas, miss the birthdays, and miss everything, man. And
It makes you a very stoic, hard person.
Yeah.
Even with my girl, I got 2 little girls. I had to learn how to give hugs and kisses. And I didn't grow up like that. So they taught me those things. I didn't hug my mom and my kid to my girls. I never told my mom and my sister I loved them to these girls, because I was just always super driven.
yeah.
So I don't got time to tell you I love you. My actions show you I love you. Did I just pad your pockets?
Yeah, we don't talk like that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't need to hug you. I never hugged my dad. Hey, all right, dude, later.
Yeah.
So it's just a different mindset. So now in my older years, I'm trying to be softer and gentler and appreciative. Like as soon as I leave here, I'm gonna take my little lady out somewhere. Back in the days, we only go to my house and then we gotta get out. All different me now. All different me.
Well, man,
Thank you for having me. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
y'all
you.
time. This is
Yeah, thank
incredible. Rick, I always respected what you did. I think I feel like you've always been a great businessman. You did some great things, I think, for the city of Houston with the record label and the artists you had on your label. There's a huge legacy in the city of Houston that definitely owes something to you because you left something. Like nobody can ever erase the legacy of a lot of the things we did during those times. You can't erase it.
reflecting it's about you right now.
No, I'm saying. That's why I said we. A lot of the stuff we did, you can't. There's a lot of people that would love to erase me personally out the history, but you can't. You can't even erase me out the history with down. Even if you don't do anything else, down south, your grandmama like it. Even if the rapper don't,
Right. No,
your grandmama and your mama and your
I
sister.
told you
like it.
backstage at a show one time, because I told you I know how this can do you.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's that music. It's like it can be jaded. It can jade you because
It
you
can.
put. It's like a female, man. You break up with her, but you love her. But what I told you that night, I meant it, and I'm telling you right now. Houston music would not be where it is right now without the role you played in it. I'm serious.
That's a lot.
I promise on everything I'm saying.
I won't
bro.
be accepting
Now,
that today.
now,
That's
and
a lot.
I put that on the camera because I was right there. See, people on the outside, all they see is what they want to see and what they want to hear. They don't know the beauty. They don't know what goes behind that and how hard it is. It's impossible for you to put out all the thousands of records that came at you at the same time. So the 999 that didn't get they shot at that out there gonna say negative shit.
Yeah, no doubt.
But the truth in it was that none of those records had to come out. And it was a movement, and you was in the front of that, man. So just like you just gave me my accolades while I'm here, I'm giving you yours while you're here. That's why I wanted to have
The purpose show for Hustle Holic.
And thank you.
I'm gonna give you that moment.
Thank you for the jewels you dropped on everybody,
Thank you, man.
man.
Thank you for coming. I don't know if I have to practice shake the lady hands. I know we're supposed to be in the COVID time, so we're supposed to be doing that, but I thought,
Man, thank y'all for being on Hustle Holidays, man, and for checking us out again. Once again, man, not enough time.
Thank you.
Like always, not enough time, man. So hopefully we can have it back over here again on the next show. Man. Thanks, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome to the land where the just don't stop. Drums, pop tops,